Rather lads, welcome back to 99 Sport. My name is Kosi, and we have just seen the first game of AFCON 2022. It has finished Cameroon to Buminafaso 0, and definitely, I think it's one of those games where you were not disappointed. I was not disappointed personally, and I hope you were not disappointed as well. There was some action, there was some thrill, and I just feel like Cameroon, yeah, they were the better team. Burkina Faso, they gave away their opportunity. It was not a classic African game where, because you thought Cameroon after scoring, they would sit back. But it was very, very different. And I think that's why Cameroon Burkina Faso, they lost that game because, even after scoring, they just kept on very, very open. Cameroon, creating all the chances, in that game. And the penalties, we'll get to that because I think that is what you have to talk about in this game. The officiation, one thing I'm going to say, the officiation in that game is top class. It is absolutely okay. I think it is Burkina Faso that have to blame themselves. They gave away that game themselves. Make sure to smash a like on the video. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel as well. Right, let's look at this, the starting lineup. Burkina Faso. This is how they started. It started with a half coffee in goal. Patrick Malo, Issa Kobre, Bertrand Traore, who I think was really, really sensational, their captain. Of course, the penalty incident really demoralized them, but I thought it was really, really sensational for them in the first half. Issoufou Dayo, Abdoulaye Tapsoba, Gustavo Sangare, the goal scorer. He has scored the first goal in AFCON. He's gone down in history, AFCON 2022. Just to be clear, Cesar Barros, Blati Toure, Adama Guira, and the staff Yago. That is how they started there for Burkina Faso. Cameroon, of course, at home, they started with Andre Onana. They're so lucky that his ban is over. Momi Ngamalo, Michael Ndagu, Andre Zambo, Vincent Abubakar, Carl Toko, Samuel Ohm, Pearl Kunde, Fai Collins, Tolo Nohu, and Jerome Ongwene. And I think, honestly, shot number 10, Vincent Abubakar, in this tournament at the moment, his name is really sounding louder than any other name there, because that guy, that man, that is the man, Vincent Abubakar. There was the difference between Cameroon and Burkina Faso. Two well-taken penalties, in that game. You couldn't really ask for more. But to get into the game, to try to dive into the game, and we'll try to look at the statistics and everything. I think Burkina Faso really started off well. If you look at the goals they scored, that goal was sensational. That was a very, very sensational goal, well created. I feel like the thrill was there, the love was there. They were really, really enthusiastic, and it wasn't really about the goal, because the goal was a beauty, really, but it was the way the goal was created. I think it is it's coming in from I think it's a cross that comes in. It's a corner actually that comes in and it's cleared off the line. But again, it's crossed back in again. I think the second time it hits the woodwork. It missed Traore, and then of course you expected him to be one of their key players. He crosses it back in, and it's a beautiful, beautiful goal from Gustavo Sangare. But then you've got to give Cameroon that credit. You've got to give them lots and lots of credit in terms of responding, the way they responded after conceding that goal. Because in the first half, if you look at the statistics really in this game, in the first half, after conceding, Cameroon did not sit back, and I think that is the kind of response you expected from them, the kind of response you wanted from them. How do they respond when they concede? And I think it's brilliant. The way they responded was absolutely brilliant. Because let's look at the first half statistics here from SofaScore, and I'm going to show you what really happened in that game in the first half. Right, here we go. So if you look at, these are the statistics at halftime, first half. 66 ball possession from Cameroon, 34 from Burkina Faso. Really, it shows you that, after scoring, after getting that, that big chance and putting it away, Cameroon in the first half, absolutely out of the game. Total shots in first half, 5 Cameroon, 4 for Burkina Faso. The shots on target, 2 for Cameroon, 2 for Burkina Faso. Shots off target, 3 for Cameroon, and 2 for Burkina Faso. No shots blocked in that game. Corners, Cameroon 3, and 1 for Burkina Faso. So really, I think what it shows us and what it shows you is that Cameroon, they responded absolutely well, and Burkina Faso, I mean, they failed to respond when they got a goal, and it's something that really happens, so much in football on a general basis. It's not only in AFCON. I know many people will say consider as AFCON, but it's not AFCON. It is football. At times when you score, you fail to you fail to respond. You fail to to know what next. And I think that's a very big question in football when you score. How do we respond? Do we go for a second goal? Do we cool the temper of the game? What exactly do we do? And I think Burkina Faso, they gave us an interesting game, but on their side they lost. And if you look at that game, there were only 3 big chances in the first half. 2 to Cameroon, penalties from Abubakar, Vicente Abubakar, and then 1 to Sangare. And all of them really went into the back of the net. Cameroon, Burkina Faso hit the woodwork 1 time in that half as well. And if you look at shots inside the box, they were shared equally 2-2, and then shots outside the box, Cameroon 3, and you could see that. You could see that there were 2 shots for Burkina Faso, and what that tells you is Cameroon absolutely all over Burkina Faso. If you've watched that game and you're a Burkina Faso fan, you just felt like we were gonna concede. You felt like you were gonna concede at any time, and finally it happened. But I think what is fascinating about Cameroon is that they did what Burkina Faso failed to do, and this is it, right? So let's come back here. What they did is they knew how to respond when they got a goal, because when they got that first goal, the penalty, which I think is a reckless challenge. We're gonna talk about the goals just in a minute, but when they get the goal, they know how to respond. They keep on pressing the pressure. I mean, there's so many ways to respond when you get a goal. You could just apply more pressure, because when a team concedes, they are in a little bit of a panic. You could just cool the pressure. You could just do anything as long as it's relevant. But I think Cameroon know when they score, they've made Burkina Faso, who are playing away from home, and Cameroon did have that home advantage. They just responded so well. They kept on piling the pressure, and more mistakes from Burkina Faso, and then they get a second goal, a second penalty that I thought on some day it is a penalty. If I'm referee, on some day I give it, and on another day I do not give it. I mean, it's so difficult to understand, because look, let's go back here. Let's go back here to the starting lineups, because again the names are really going to be very hard for me to get through one game. But look, the first penalty, if we decide to talk about the penalty incidents, the first penalty is ridiculous. There is no way I can defend him. I want to defend him. I want to defend Bertrand Traoré, but I can't defend him. Your captain, the experience you have, you're playing in the Premier League, and you definitely know that this team, has, if they're staking money, it is absolutely on you. It's absolutely on you. You've got to be careful. You've got to be better than that. And I'm gonna say they played through Bertrand Traoré. Yes, he made a mistake, but don't forget the first goal they scored. Brilliant goal, brilliant. It's one of those times when the assist is definitely equal to the goal in terms of quality, because all of them were much better pieces of quality. And even in the second half, because if you look at what is done in this game, if you look at his individual statistics, as Traoré, And he's managed, he managed 50 touches in that game and an 89% passing accuracy. Crosses, 5 crosses today. Long balls, he had 2. Of course, not so much accurate because out of 5 crosses, he only had one, one accurate cross. Big chances created, 1 in that game. Shots on target, 2, and then shots off target, 1 as well. But long balls to look. I think they really played through him. They really, really wanted to play through him, and they did. And if it's not for the penalty, I think he had pretty a fair start to AFCON 2022. And I think the penalty is really, really going to drag him down. There is no question. But then let's speak about the penalty lights. Let's speak about the 2 penalty incidents. One from Issoufou Dayo, and then the other from Bertrand Traoré. If you're a referee, I don't see why the referee goes to the screen. Definitely, I don't see why the referee goes to the screen. I don't see why he goes to the screen. Because for me, they're clear penalties. They're definitely clear penalties. Look, Traoré, I think it's mad. It's definitely mad. Because, yes, it's a 50-50 ball. And, the Cameroon player clearly clears that ball. You're not going to get contact to the ball. I mean, it's gonna say in his defense, you might say, he's coming there, and it's there is no way back, right? But for me, when he comes into the challenge, he's not even fully committed that he's going to meet that ball. It's partial. He's partially committed, and when he gets there, he realizes, I made a mistake. It's nasty. It's nasty. He's not anywhere close to the ball. It's not a goal scoring opportunity. And that's why I don't understand. Because, the Cameroon player is actually going out of the penalty area. Leave him. I mean, you could shield him. You could do anything. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're a goal up. It doesn't cost you. You're not going to go a goal down. But again, the player, and when you look at the first touch of the Cameroon player, actually, it's awful. It's an awful fast touch. He's not getting close at that ball on the second, on the second touch. I think it's awful, but it's a clear penalty. It's a clear penalty. You've got to give it. Then Issoufou Dayo. I mean, this one is tricky. This one is very, very tricky. The second incident, because look, and we're gonna talk about Burkina Faso's lack of discipline, which actually cost them this game, because that is what really for me I saw in that game why they didn't win. But think about it, lads. Just think about it. Why would you have such a game plan? Rough, absolutely rough. Let me show you the number of times they committed fouls. It's interesting. It's absolutely interesting. So let's look at the overall statistics here. They committed 21 fouls in that game. 21 fouls in that game. It speaks volumes, doesn't it? It absolutely speaks volumes of the lack of discipline they had. And look, football again is one of those result-oriented games. I mean, if they won it, you would say they had a brilliant, they had a brilliant game plan. But when you lose it, then it becomes ugly. It becomes so ugly. And for me, the reason that's why it's so ugly is that, I mean, they concede, and then they keep it ugly, right? We're going to talk about the second penalty incident, right? But first half, how many fouls do you have here? In the first half, how many fouls? Where are you fouls? I would love to see. All right. Doesn't show fouls. Really should be showing fouls in the first half. No, it doesn't show them. Can't find them. Tackles, interceptions, clearances. Right. So if you look at they had 10 tackles, they had 7 interceptions and 8 clearances. That really shows you that they were on the receiving end of the game. But I was trying to look at the fouls they created. Fouls they made in both halves, trying to compare, but it looks like I can't get them. But overall, 21 fouls. That is too much. That is too much, and definitely two of them in a very, 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 in a very, very poor area. But I think with Burkina Faso, before we get in any further, the second penalty, lads, what do you think about it? Because look, when I look at the penalty, it's after Issoufou Doyo is flying in. It's like, I mean, it's again a challenge that you can't blame him. It's instinctive, isn't it? I think it's instinctive. But is that the kind of challenge that you have to do there? A player is just coming into that 18 yards box, and then you come sliding directly to him, and I think it's unfortunate because he misses the ball. If he gets to the ball, right? Listen, I think why it's a penalty, he doesn't get anywhere close to the ball. If he gets to the ball, if he gets a touch on the ball, then it's a different dimension. We're talking about something different. But the moment he doesn't get to the ball, and look, you know what's funny there is or not funny, but the fact is he, unlike Bertrand Traore, he's committed. He's 100% committed. He's gone to ground and he's sweeping everything coming in. And the Cameroon player is also really, really committed. He's like, I'm coming in. And so we have two players with 100% commitment, and that's what makes that fall or tackle or incident absolutely nasty. That is what makes it absolutely nasty. It's a penalty, isn't it? It's a penalty. I mean, whether you go to the screen or you don't, and I'm really, really happy with the referee in that incident because he just points to the spot. It's a penalty, lads. It's a penalty. Burkina Faso, I'm sorry, it's a penalty. Both of them are penalties, but caused by the lack of discipline. I think it was escalated by the lack of discipline that was not checked, within the team. Right from minute one, tackles were flying in. They were not looking odd. They were not looking good. But you've got to think about it, and you're like, why really? Why? Right? Why? We have a goal, right? We've started really, really poorly in terms of discipline, but then we have a goal. You don't want to give away. This is tournament football. One win, makes you qualify to the next round. You don't want to give away your lead like that. You don't want to give away. You don't want to give away your points like that. And I think Burkina Faso, they will be absolutely fuming, but fuming to themselves, right? So, lads, I think in terms of the our match reaction, that is pretty much it. That's the first game. Of course, I'll be doing a couple of other games in terms of in terms of AFCON. We'll be really trying to speak about all these games and try to react. I mean, it's not a bad start for it's not a bad start for Cameroon. They're at home, and it really hurts when you're at home and you're knocked out of the competition in earlier stages. It really hurts, and I think they'll be flying. They'll be really happy. They deserve it. They absolutely deserve it. This man, Vincent Abubakar, the penalty. Let's talk about the penalties really, as because the penalties. I mean, the trick is beautiful. I mean, top scorer at the moment has been named man of the match in that game. Did he have really much to do apart from scoring the penalties? I do not know. I do not know. Let's look at Vincent Abubakar. What exactly did he do? If you look at his heat map, as a forward, I think they played him not really as one of those eights, that as one of those number nines, but scoring 2 goals there. 3 shots on target, 3 shots off target. He had how many touches do you have? Because that's what I would love to say. He had 36 touches and 14 accurate passes. I don't think he was that influential in that game, really. But you've got to give it to him. You've got to give it to him. So you could see Nohu Tolo here for Cameroon. For me, I think it was really their key player. Really did well. Very well there. He had what is interesting is that he won 14 ground duels out of 15 attempted. Brilliant, right? Really, really brilliant. And he had 65 touches in that game. 30 of them, 35, 30 passes accurate out of 35. I mean, but definitely you've got to give it to Vincent Abubakar. Man of the match, top scorer in the tournament. He's at home. Cameroon flying start. Burkina Faso, they will need to bounce back. But of course, after this game, then I think you have Cape Verde and Ethiopia. Is it the next game that will be coming in? And then I'll be doing your reactions as well. Smash a like on the video, subscribe, and I'll speak to you in the next one.